今回紹介するフレーズは、何々にしておく、何々のままでいくという意味で、すでに選んだものを変えずにキープするときによく使う表現です。スティックはもともとくっつくという意味があり、stick with 何々にくっついたまま変えないというイメージになります。それではよく使われる場面を見ていきましょう。新しいメニューも気になるけど、やっぱりいつものを頼みたいとき、A さんが
Are you trying the new drink?
新作のドリンク試してみると聞くと B さんが
I'll stick with my usual.
いつものにしておくよと返します。常連らしさが伝わる一言、迷わずいつものにするよという落ち着いたニュアンスです。続いては服を選んでいる場面。A さんが
You could try a brighter color.
もっと明るい色にしてみたらと言うと B さんが
Nah, I'll stick with black.
いや、黒でいくよと答えます。単に色の選択だけじゃなく、黒が落ち着く、黒が一番しっくりくるというニュアンスで使われていて、自分の定番スタイルを表すときにぴったりの言い回しです。続いては旅行の計画をしている場面。A さんが
How about trying a different place this year?
今年は別の場所にしてみないと提案すると B さんが
I think I'll stick with Kyoto.
やっぱり京都にしておくよと答えます。このようにこだわりや好みの意思表示をするときにも使えます。文の構造を見ていきましょう。stick with のイメージはそのままにしておく。with の後ろには変えたくない対象を名詞、名詞句で入れます。食べ物、人、計画などどんなものにも使える便利なフレーズです。with の後にはそのままにしておく対象を名詞または名詞句で入れます。例文を確認しましょう。
I'll stick with coffee.
コーヒーにしておくよ。
I'll stick with black.
黒にしておく。
I'll stick with the original plan.
当初の計画でいくよ。
I'll stick with my team.
チームと一緒にやっていくよ。このように with の後ろに入る言葉で何をそのまま続けるのかを明確にするのがポイントです。choose, go with, stick with これらはいずれも選ぶの意味を持ちますが、実はいつどんな気持ちで選ぶかによって使い分けることができます。choose は決断の瞬間、頭で考えて理性的に決めるイメージ。
I'll choose this one.
これを選ぶねという明確な選択。go with は迷っている中で感覚的に選ぶとき。
I'll go with this one.
これにしようかな。このように軽く言える日常的な選択。stick with すでに選んだものを変えずにキープするとき。
I'll stick with this one.
やっぱりこれにしておくという安定感のある言い方。このように覚えておくと使い分けがしやすくなります。
She'll stick with her first choice. They'll stick with the plan. I stuck with my decision. I'll stick with this one. You should stick with your gut feeling. Can I stick with the same one? Don't stick with something that doesn't work. I can't stick with this anymore. I wonder how long I can stick with this routine. I was wondering if I could stick with my old plan. I think I'll stick with water for now. I'll stick with my usual, the caramel latte. I was gonna try the new one, but I'll stick with coffee. I'll stick with black. It just feels more me. I'll stick with the cheaper one. I'm not made of money. You know what? I'll stick with what I know. I'll stick with the same one as last time. It was really good. I'll stick with jeans. You can't go wrong with those. Let's stick with the original plan. It's safer. I'll stick with what's been working so far. I'll stick with the data instead of assumptions. I'll stick with this version until we get feedback. I'll stick with quality over speed any day. I'll stick with our current strategy for now. Let's stick with what we discussed yesterday. I'll stick with my friends. They've always had my back. I'll stick with you on this one. I'll stick with her decision. She knows what she's doing. I'll stick with honesty. It's the best policy. I'll stick with kindness, even when it's hard. I'll stick with people who inspire me. I'll stick with my gut feeling. It's never failed me. I'll stick with what feels right, not what looks easy. I'll stick with my goals, no matter how long it takes. I'll stick with gratitude. It keeps me grounded. I'll stick with reality. Dreaming's fine, but plans matter too. I'll stick with positivity. There's always a silver lining. I'll stick with learning, even when it's uncomfortable. I'll stick with doing my best. That's all I can control. I'll stick with being myself. That's enough. You don't improve your English just by learning more and more. Your conversation skills take off when you can instantly pull the right phrase out and use it. On this channel, we post focused lessons, one phrase per video. We break down how to use each phrase in real-life situations and share tips for sounding more natural like a native speaker. If you want to turn your English from what you know into what you can use, make sure to subscribe and level up your speaking skills with us.